I guess you could. I said it before. The Punk Wizard of Oz, Kevin Lyman, the creator of Vans Warped Tour. Thanks for calling in today, Kevin.
Thank you. And I mean, that's a new one. I've been called a lot of things in life, but not that one.
Well, it's nothing but a good thing. Trust me.
Well, thank you very much.
Not a problem. I know a lot of people who listen to my show are younger, and they may not know who's behind the Warped Tour. So this is kind of a way for them to get to know the brain power behind it all. So if you don't mind if we delve a little bit into the past?
Yeah, well, my background, I grew up working in the clubs in Los Angeles. I mean, kind of during the beginning of the punk era in the Los Angeles area. It's been around, but started working in the clubs of Los Angeles like in 1982, 83, working with bands like Dead Kennedys and Black Flag, Circle Jerks and that, and those bands kind of grew into the Jane's Addictions and the Chili Peppers, and then I worked on a tour called Lollapalooza in 1991. I was the first stage manager and doing a lot of shows out here that combined skateboarding and music. We'd get the Red Hot Chili Peppers on top of a ramp. And then 1995, was going to do one last little thing with some friends and head out on the road and went out with Sublime and No Use for a Name and L7 and No Doubt and did 25 shows around the country, and no one really showed up, but people saw that it was something a little different.
Right. Now, how did you get the first bands involved with the Warped Tour once things were finally going? I mean, you said that you went out with Sublime and bands like that, and no one showed up. How did you get people attracted to it? I suppose is what I'm trying to say.
Well, I think what it was, we didn't have no one show up, but it was like a real core group of people, and I think a lot of the promoters saw that there was like a real kind of movement and people working real hard and kind of what we believed in. And they gave us a second chance. And that's when Vans actually stepped up, because Vans wasn't involved, and they stepped in as a sponsor of the tour in 1996. And it gave me a little leeway to go out and kind of work with bands, and also getting bands like NoFX and Pennywise on the second leg of the tour really helped. And all of a sudden it just kind of kept going, and the crowds kind of grew, and it's 14 years later. It's funny, we're going into our 14th summer, and I'm already starting to plan our 15th anniversary show.
Wow. Now, did you ever, when you first started, did you ever think you'd be at this point, 14 years, and getting bigger every year?
No. I mean, to be honest, there's really, if you were doing a history of music festivals and you wanted to talk to someone, that's really what I thought. If you're talking about the band's Warped Tour, there's, it's unprecedented. It's the longest running tour now, but we keep chugging away. And I think, there's so many people that kind of believe and have gotten behind me and continually, want to move this forward. And to this day, I'm getting a little older, but young people come to me with their ideas, and I can implement them through my tours, and those ideas can become companies and brands, and people we support each other each summer.
There you go. See, that's fantastic.
It keeps the scene strong. I mean, we kind of look at it as, we've got to, keep the indie scene strong. So, whether it's Epitaph, Fat Records, we all get together, we get under one umbrella, and then, sometimes we got to go kick each other's ass the rest of the year in business, but we kind of, each summer we rally around this.
That's awesome. Is there any one or two labels that you work with closer than you do any others for the tour?
No, it's just like I work on it year round, and it's still in my heart. It's my heart and my soul. I love meeting the young bands. I like working, like my old bands. It's fun when I'm sitting there with Fletcher from Pennywise, after a show, and he says, "Man, this is the best thing ever. You get to be a kid for 2 days."
Right.
We get to go out and we entertain fans, and just have a great time. It's really, it's hard to leave home sometimes now, but it's fun to get on that tour bus in a couple months and go see the country.
Oh, definitely. I know sometimes I'll see bands that I wouldn't expect on the Warped Tour. I know it started off kind of a punk thing, and now you have bands like Every Time I Die is playing the whole tour this year, and Say Anything is going to be there. And what kind of drew those kind of bands to...
I think it's kind of diverse now. I think it was funny. We a few metal bands would come out on tour. And then we got bands like Kill Switch Engage, and As I Lay Dying last year, and this year they're coming back, and Every Time I Die. And I think that's what really Warped Tour is. It's not, some people would go, it's just a punk tour, and then it became, there's just too many emo bands, there's just too many screamo bands, and But when you really go in there and you dig deep, I mean, this year's lineup, I mean, you got everyone from the Agrolites to a Reskin all-girl Japanese ska band to, All That Remains, which is really heavy band, to everything kind of in between. And I think if that's the thing about coming to the Warped Tour, you just got to come with an open mind. And that's kind of what I said last year, if you don't have an open mind, this tour is not for you. You just want to come in there, walk around the tour. We had a saying last year, even for the people, the old-timers on the tour, walked around and just said, hey, I've gone back to Warped Tour. And that was a good feeling, that people that maybe could be jaded about business walked around and just goes, man, I saw a great band today. I didn't know who they were, but, man, it was a lot of fun.
That's very, very cool. Now, let's get into some of the new bands that you really get behind new bands that come on the tour. Like this year, you're getting behind Street Dogs, MC Chris, people like that. What does a band have to draw your attention? Well,
they have to have a great live show. I check into it and hear, hey, do they play? Do they do a good live show? And we just had our kickoff party out here in LA, and we had everyone from Katy Perry to the Agrolites to Beat Union. And I mean, there's a little band called Beat Union playing this summer that I just think you have to see live, and you just go, wow. You see them in a small club, and you got to feel like, not that they're the Rolling Stones, but you kind of imagine back to that day in England when maybe the Jam or those bands are playing in pubs, and this band gives you that same energy. And you have to have a good live show because there's so much going on at the tour each day that you have to be able to, you have to stand out. And that's really what I think that this is about. I mean, there's a band 303 that reminds me of the early Beastie Boys that's out on the tour this year.
Yeah, there's actually an interactive chat board here on when we're doing the interview, and someone just mentioned how great they are live, and then she got excited when you mentioned them. So
yeah, so I think that's really what it's going to be. It's going to be kind of getting out there and wandering around, especially this year. I think it's weird because we have the business, the music industry. You don't know who's breaking, what's going on. The labels don't know if they're releasing records. So we just had to kind of put this lineup together that I think it's as diverse as I could make it without getting too out there to where it made no sense.
That's awesome. Now, see, here's another thing I noticed with Warped Tour. Now, first getting back to the live performances. Last year I was in Milwaukee doing press, and I got a chance to meet Gallows,
right,
and see their live show, and I was just blown away.
Yeah, that's a band I brought over. It was their first tour of America. We brought them down to South by Southwest, and I just said, man, they've got to go out on this tour. And they won fans over one at a time. They just got up there on stage and played, and they've been on, they also won bands over, and that's the biggest thing for a band to be on Warped Tour, is to get seen by another band. And the next thing I know, they were asked by Bad Religion to go out on tour with them this fall. And that's really a good feeling for me that, some of the veterans will identify young bands, and they see and they hear about it. I mean, that's what we're talking about, this band, Oreska, this all-girl Japanese ska band. Right. They played a few shows last year on the West Coast, and all I kept, within a day, everyone's going, have you seen that band? Have you seen that band? All around, the lunch area, all around the barbecue, and their crowds grew just in those few days. So we've gone out of the way to make sure they're going to be on the whole tour this year, and I think that's going to be how, kids are going to start emailing each day and just telling each other, wow, I saw this band, and by the end of the tour, I think, that's how it usually grows.
That's awesome. Now, whose idea was it to have it, I guess it's a very fan-friendly tour, but when you walk around, I mean, the first year I went, Thursday was playing Bad Religion and Alkaline Trio and all that. I actually got to meet Jay Bentley at the Epitaph booth. I mean,
right.
Is that something the bands do, or is that something that you kind of set up, or?
Well, no, I mean, that's been a thing I've always said. I said, in this business, it's still, in the punk world, it always was meeting people, shaking hands, hanging out, sleeping on people's floors. And I say, get out in the booth, meet people, because maybe you won't have a hit single one day, maybe you won't be on the top of the radar, but you know what? If you meet people face to face, you know what? They're going to back you a lot longer in life. So even it's fun to see even some of the old timer bands of the tour still make that effort to go out and spend some time in that booth. And it's been something very important, and I'm really glad because I think it's ingrained in the culture now for bands to spend time and go out to their merch booths and kind of meet the fans. And I think that may be one legacy that maybe the Warped Tour will leave behind, because we really made that a point from the beginning.
I love the Warped Tour. I know I get a lot of people telling me whenever I'm going, they're like, "Oh, you're going there?" I'm like, yeah, I'm going. It's a good time, and I don't usually get a chance to catch Bad Religion when they come through. And then if they're on the Warped Tour, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, the Warped Tour is not for everyone. I mean, the Warped Tour is usually hot. I mean, up in Milwaukee, we've had every range of weather up there. It's a long day. I mean, you have to be really passionate about music. Or you have to be someone that maybe doesn't get out to as many shows. It gets harder and harder in life to get out to more and more shows. But at the Warped Tour, you can go see a lot and then maybe pick one or two that you want to follow the following year and see them on their own tour. So, it isn't for everyone. And I think that's what we've learned, that you can't satisfy everyone, but there's a real core contingency of people that love coming and look forward to this each summer. And usually when they maybe stop coming, they've got younger brothers and sisters that are old enough to come to the tour. But then all of a sudden you find now we're finding years later people coming back to the tour. Maybe they haven't come 6 or 7 years, but they don't get a chance to see as many bands, and they remember a good time at the Warped Tour, so they're coming back.
There you go. That's all there is to it. Now, what are you looking forward to most in this 14th year of the Warped Tour coming up?
Gosh, just that first day. The first day to see if the show that I put together came together right, the way I thought. We start here in Pomona. So it's Pomona, California, where I grew up, 5 minutes from the venue. So it's a big family homecoming. I think my guest list is about 100 people. I mean, there's barbecues going backstage. Now there's birthday parties. My daughter's had her birthday party backstage every year for a few years, and just getting this thing on the road. And then I was thinking the other day, like, wow, how many more years I'm going to do this? I get to go into a city each day, meet up with a bunch of old friends. I see a lot of people only one time a year. And that's, in the local Milwaukee market, there'll be like 25 people that I only see once a year come down. They'll ride their motorcycles down. They'll all come hang out. We'll barbecue. And then I'll wander around and see if kids had a good time. And if I can keep doing that, then it makes me want to do this each year.
There you go. See, and that's all there is to it. Just having fun is the most important thing.
Yeah, it's having fun, but, the nice thing about when you're having fun, you're willing to learn. And when you're willing to learn, that's why we can have our nonprofits, and that's why we can have all this educational stuff out on the tour that we have going each year. There's so much going on out there that it's fun to hear that kids come out now and help with the recycling program, that kids get involved in Amnesty International or the PETA organization because they went to the Warped Tour, that they're there actually to have fun, but you can learn something on the side.
That amazing stuff. Well, Kevin, I hope when you guys come through Milwaukee on August 1st, I'll get a chance to meet you because I'm going to hopefully be there doing some press. So,
all right, well, great. Yeah, come on back by. Look for bus number 1. It's always parked in the corner backstage, and I'll be riding my bike around.
Awesome. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Lyman, the creator of the Vans Warped Tour. Thank you very much for calling in, and have a good tour starting June 20th in Pomona, California. Yeah,
we're going to get started, and we'll be up to see you guys shortly after, and we'll have it all together when we see you.
Awesome. All right, thanks a lot, Kevin.
All right, take care, you guys.
All right, have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Kevin Lyman, the creator of the Vans Warped Tour. Great guy. I thought that it'd be weirder, but it was good. It was good.